Okay, you just interviewed for a position, you got hired, and you just started, and you found out it's nothing that you thought it was, and you are hating your job. The culture's terrible. You're even thinking about work outside of work, and you're depressed. You're thinking about quitting, and you decide, I got to find a job or I got to quit. Either way, it's going to look hard on your resume because you haven't been there that long, and you're going to have to explain it in your next interview, right? How do we prevent getting into the spot? So, the premise of this, you're not just being interviewed when you go in for a job interview, okay? It's not just company interviewing you. You are also interviewing the company, okay? I know it sounds weird, but track with me for a second. So when I'm interviewing somebody, I'm trying to see if they're going to be a good fit for the culture, if they're going to stick around, and if they can do the job, right? You, the candidate, you need to find out, am I, as the company, going to be a good fit for you and your values, including how your time is spent outside of work? This is super important. This is how you're going to prevent yourself from getting into a toxic work environment where you're going to just up and quit and then make your resume look bad, right? Because you got to explain these gaps and these short employment dates, right? Because that worries employers. That worries me whenever somebody comes in, they've worked the past 3 jobs collectively for 3 months. Okay? So be sure to ask employers questions. I even had a guy when I was working for as an HR manager for a manufacturing company. I had this guy, it was for a foreman position. He'd have about 15 to 20 people under him, and it's not an easy position to fill, especially when we're hiring outside the company. He came in with lots of relevant experience. Like he was a perfect candidate. I was excited. But then he started making me nervous. I'm the guy doing the interview, and he made me nervous because he was asking questions. He first asked, so is there mandatory overtime? I really value my family time. I've got 2 little girls. I got to be at all their events. My dad missed all my stuff. I'm not going to miss theirs. Immediately, I'm like, oh no. Yep, there's going to be mandatory overtime. Okay, probably didn't look good. Then he's like, okay, well, how's the insurance? I mean, I got a family to take care of. I'm the primary person for insurance. Well, I was hoping he wasn't going to ask too much into that, because then I have to say, well, we don't have dental or vision. We have a high deductible, and really coverage isn't great. So, like, I'm already like, oh no, he's asking all the questions. He's going to find out this company isn't for him. And in the end, he didn't want it. He's like, no, I'm going to pass. Even though my hiring manager up above me wanted this guy bad. There was nothing we could do. He asked the right questions. He vetted us. He knew not a good fit. So don't just go into an interview and end it with no questions. Have questions on a notepad. Like, do you value your time outside of work? Um, are there things that, like, let's say maybe you're a Christian and there's some unethical things you just can't do? Like, you need to figure out things in the interview before you get hired on and find out later on, okay? I know some things you're not going to find out. Like, if you're going to have toxic coworkers, that's not easy to do. But there's some things you can find out. So write down in a notepad, take it into the interview, and as soon as they ask at the end, do you have any questions? Oh, actually, I do. I've got quite a few. All right, guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and be sure to check out the next ones because we're going to keep these rolling. All right, take care.